levanto temprano y me pongo a trabajar. Con la guitarra en la mano ya no dejo de cantar. A mí me llaman el gitano porque en invierno.
Hi, I'm Jade from 111. I'm the head chef and one of the owners. We've been there now for 6 years, and every week for those 6 years we've been coming to the farmers market to buy about half of our produce. Some of the farmers are kind enough to deliver the rest, but I still come down here so I can make sure that I have a look at what's actually growing and have a chat to them, see what's going on. So today I'm picking up all the usual things that I collect for breakfast and lunch and desserts and everything, but particularly for the recipe we're going to do, we're going to go and pick up some things to pickle, some things to make pate, some cheese, some bits and pieces. Woo, just a few. And so obviously this isn't what we need just for today, but this is for the week's worth of pumpkin pate and salads and breakfast for 111. Myself and the other nighttime chef Sky are both from Nimbin originally. Locals for a long time, been away and come back, and so we're really happy to be able to get some stuff from home basically. Hiya.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
I'm after, do you have any larger size tubs of the goat's cheese? The soft?
I have only the plain curd.
Just in the plain curd, yeah, that's what I'm after. So I already have the chilies, which I picked from my own garden this morning. I'll pickle this afternoon, which is the final component for the recipe. So that's all that we need for that particular recipe tonight, but I still got a lot of things to pick up for the day, so I better get moving. So where we left off with the farmer's market, we had this lovely pumpkin from Frank, which we're going to turn into a pumpkin pate, and that is going to take a little while. So we're going to get that ready to roast, and then while it's roasting, we're going to produce a lovely little pickle with some chilies out of my garden. Very quick, very simple, something to go with it at the end. I've already taken out half the pumpkins, we only need this much for the recipe, and scooped all the seeds out. Nice big chunks. We want it to take quite a long time to roast and develop the sweetness, and the skin's going to help protect it. Into a nice big bowl, a little bit of good olive oil, and we have a tablespoon of hot paprika, good pinch of salt, and a really generous meal of black pepper. Again, get it all beautifully coated, out into a roasting tray with the skin down, into an oven at about 180 degrees, and that's going to take about an hour. So while that's cooking, and so we don't waste any time standing around, we're going to produce a little pickle. So I've got 3 red and about the equivalent of 3 long green chilies. We are going to just take off the stems, split them down the middle, and take out most of the seeds. Because although I like it hot, there's plenty of chili in this recipe as it is. Once you've taken the seeds out, just a rough julienne on an angle, nothing specific. I like using the combination of the 2 types of chili because the green ones are a little bit sharper and a little bit punchier, and the red ones are a little bit more fruity. Although the green ones, once they cook, don't look quite as pretty, the flavour's far superior. Into a pot, 1/4 cup of very finely chopped palm sugar, and a 1/2 cup of sherry vinegar. We're going to put this onto the heat and let this reduce right down to a glade. This will take a few minutes, just let the vinegar boil, and we'll make sure that it doesn't reduce too far. When I put the chilies in here, with all that vinegar, you want to stand back. Just about dissolved all the palm sugar. The palm sugar is quite earthy and not as sweet as like a white sugar. And the sherry vinegar is quite pungent and has a bit more guts to it. And that's all dissolved now and it's starting to look nice and glossy. We're just going to drop our chilies in there, toss them around in this lovely liquid, and let them boil for a moment. It's a little bit of a quick pickle today, and normally we'd have something far more complex if we're going to put this in a jar for the next 6 months. A big part of what we do here is preserving, and all that lovely produce from the farmers market, we'd love to get into a jar, a bottle, anything we can get our hands on, and put them over into the cabinet over there. I don't really want to cook the living life out of them. I want to get them down to just starting to sticky, and then we're going to put them aside. I can smell that green chilli and that sweet fruitiness. I'm happy with that. It's broken down enough. We're going to put that aside. We're going to let that sit until we're done. Just while the pumpkin's cooking, another good job to separate the eggs and the whites. These ones are beautiful free-range eggs from the boys at Hayters Hill, and the only eggs we use here. We'll keep the egg whites for another time. Beautiful. Now to the pumpkin. So that's had 55 minutes now, and it's quite soft. Just going to give that a few minutes till it's cool enough to handle, and then we'll start making the mix of the pate. Here's our beautiful pumpkin. Cooled down just enough that I'm not going to burn my hands off. Nice big spoon. Get in there and just take the skin off. And it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of skin left in there. It's all part of the flavour anyway. And into our blender. Depending on how rustic you want to be with it, you don't have to take the skin off. You can just use it if it hasn't been too badly burnt. So now that we have our pumpkin, and it isn't too hot, into the food processor, 100 ml of cream. Starting to look pretty good. Now that it's come together and it's not so hot as it's going to scramble our eggs, we're going to add our 5 egg yolks. Blend it again. Now that that's come together, we need to taste it. I'm looking for that balance of the sweet pumpkin, the hot paprika, just to see if it needs any more of the spice. I'm going to give a little bit more pepper. You'd be surprised at how much it takes with such robust, warm flavours. And a little bit more salt. So we get a nice even measurement. I'm going to put this in a big jug here. And then I've got some deep baking dishes with some ramekins, in this case lovely little terracotta ones, but you can use any size you like. I find the big flat ones cook a little bit better, but I've also cooked this in a large dish, a terrine mould, crock pot, doesn't matter what it is. In this case we're doing individual serves, so we're going to split it between these different ramekins. Give it a little tap down to settle out. I'm going to stop with just those 3 there. I have a little bit of mix left over, but the beauty of it is I can pop that into the fridge, hold that, and tomorrow I can produce another fresh set of pate. After the second day, that's the end of it, but just for that first day it's perfectly applicable to hold on to it. For a home dinner party situation, you probably use all of it, but for the restaurant, we tend to hold a little bit and back up and only bake freshly each day how many we need. So the reason we've got this nice deep dish is I'm going to pour hot water in around here, and a nice deep water bath allows for a gentle, even cooking process. And the oven that I roasted in before, I've dropped it right down from 180 degrees down to 100. And we're going to pop this in there and cook it until it's just set, about 30 or 40 minutes. Now time's up. Just got a nice light set, hence the pate name. You could hold on to it for an hour or more, or you could refrigerate it immediately so that you could serve it later on. Never gets better than when it just comes out of the oven though. Just off hot. Perfectly warm and smooth. We've got our little chilli relish that we made earlier, a little bit of freshly chopped parsley, and a tiny little bit of torn mint. Also from this morning, that lovely Nimbin Valley dairy goat's curd. Really tangy, quite sharp and lemony to go with the sweetness of the pate and the heat of the chilies. So we're just going to pop a nice big crumbly sharp bit on the top there, a nice bit of freshly torn mint, chopped parsley, and then some of our lovely hot, sweet, vinegary pickled chilies, a little bit of that liquid, really good extra virgin olive oil, and a tiny little final season of flake salt, cracked pepper. Some crunchy flatbread straight out of the oven. Our pumpkin pate, quick pickled chilies, and Nimbin goat stew.